Look at me. I'm Sandra D. Look at me. I'm on time. You can't say I may not be a lot, but God, I'm prompt, huh? Huh? Hey, here I am. 7 a.m. Ugh, that would be weird. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Beth, Destination Decluttered, doing a TikTok live. Hey, people. Hey, Nikki and Mary and Tracy and Swolfie and Kimby and Nellie and all the people with the E's. I didn't have an E. I was always just Beth. We had Johnny and Kathy and Pammy and Katie and Beth. But I do my best. So, 7 p.m. I don't know about you. I kind of like this time. I am often finding myself a little bit kind of feeling a little bit up past my bedtime when it comes to 8 p.m., but this feels kind of fun. So, Destination Decluttered, me, you, us, together now for the next hour. The next hour, I am here for you. And I am here for you so that I can help you get unstuck. Seriously, people? Seriously, consider me like, not exactly like AAA with a tow truck. Those are the actual official people when it's really bad, you need to get a tow truck. Consider me the BFF who can tell you how to steer better to get you out of that rut you're in, when you're spinning your wheels in the mud. I can come and be like, oh no, chill, let it sit. Go a little bit at a time, ease out of the rut. Maybe I'll go and I'll give you a push as you're putting on the accelerator. I work in the metaphor, especially the car metaphor and the road trip metaphor. And I'm here to get you unstuck. Oh, Maddie27 here. Yay, I made it. Yay, you made it. So did I. I tell everyone about you. Why, thank you. Yay, I made it too. I have to share with you. I feel like it's a kind of a full disclosure type of thing. But I am much more of a morning person. So often, if it's left up to me, which sometimes it is, oftentimes it is, which is kind of fun, is I will schedule my TikTok lives for when it feels organic to me. And so I tend to lean towards the early. And I know, especially because I am East Coast, represent, that this can jam up people on the West Coast and the middle and all those other things. So therefore, I will just say that when folks like you said, please, could you do some evening TikTok lives? I said, you know what? Sure. Why not? Why not? However, I'm going to admit that I did some errands today because I have prepping. I'm traveling this weekend. I travel, not a lot. I travel just right. Love for Stella saying you helped me so much. Yay. So thank you for letting me know that. But I went out and I had a glass of wine with my dinner. So I rarely drink in the mornings, but I had a glass of wine. So if my eyes look tired or I stumble on a word, maybe it's because of that glass of white wine I had. But it's 7 o'clock. This feels civilized to me. I feel like I can do this. Laura and FL Sundays and Hype and 616440 and Murda and all sorts of cool people. So here's what we do. If I haven't met you before, I always forget to do this. My name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, certified life coach, and I have worked in the decluttering. I have helped people kind of informally, formally, personally, professionally declutter for decades. This may seem strange to you if you are struggling with clutter, which I did too. I struggled for clutter for a while, but I know how to get this stuff done. I think it's fun to create order out of chaos and solve problems. So if you're wanting to hire me as a what is that, like a corporate, like whatever, yeah, I like to create order out of chaos and solve problems, and not just do it. I want to share it with you so you can do this too. Okay. It's not rocket science, but also it doesn't need to be rocket science if it's something that if you don't know how to do, or if you've never done it before. So I want to teach you what I have learned through decades of trial and error, what works, what doesn't work, what's the most efficient way, what's the most streamlined way, so that you can get to from where you're going. Look behind me. Just rarely I will ask you to look at the screen. If you're listening to me while you're decluttering, as I know many people do, and that kind of Pavlov's dog thing, just here you are today. Here's decluttered. Here's your destination, decluttered. See what I did there? I will help you just take the shortest, most efficient, and most delightful way to be there. I'm all about the road trip. Okay, Maddie 27 here. Hey, Beth here. I'm finding I don't like to organize alone. Is that weird? No. First of all, nothing is weird. Do not judge yourself. Oh my God, I'm weird. I don't like to do this alone. No, many people who I coach, so I do one-on-one coaching, one-on-one, 2 minutes in one, over Zoom. I have a 10-week package that I offer for paid coaching. And many people that I work with have late diagnosed ADHD, early diagnosed ADHD. Each one of our brains works differently. I don't really care what the label is, but what I want to offer to you, Maddie, and to everybody here is what works for you and what doesn't. So let's emphasize what does work for you. So if you like to organize when you are not alone, let's set that up. In the ADHD world, they have a name for this. They call it body doubling. And I know for a stone cold fact that many people benefit from that, even if the person is not necessarily in the same room as you. So, for example, when I do these TikTok lives, I know, and see, Wildcat right there says, nope, you're not weird. Seems normal to me. Seems normal, whatever floats your boat is fine. I know a lot of people, when I do these TikTok lives, will say, oh, she's on a TikTok live. Now I'm not alone. I feel like I can declutter. So, Maddie, I'm here for you right now for the next 54 minutes. If you want to declutter and walk around while you hear me, that's fine. You do not need to look at the screen to get the benefit of what I do here. The other thing too is maybe you just want to sit there. Maybe it's been a long day because this is an evening TikTok, that you just want to sit there and just look at me. I'm like scrolling. You're scrolling. Okay. That is also totally cool. I say that because my TikTok lives are recorded. When they are recorded, I download them from TikTok and then I upload them to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So let's say you want to just listen and absorb this one, but then you're like, oh, what was that point that she made? And it went back because it was live. No worries. There are recordings. You can stop, you can listen, you can rewind on Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So follow my YouTube channel if you just want to know where those are. And I promise, because I am traveling tomorrow, that before I hit the road tomorrow, I will make sure that this one is downloaded and then uploaded so you can refer to it. Okay? So there we go. Hey, Wildcat is saying I'm part of an awesome body doubling group if anyone's interested. If there's more than 2, is it really body doubling? Would it be body tripling or quadrupling? Susan Porter says, I find body doubling very helpful. You know what? Here's what I love. When I coach groups, when I coach one-on-one, I say, what works for you, do more of that. What doesn't work for you, let's break it apart and create it into something that does work for you. Okay? So notice that. What else do we have here? All right. People like to do the thing. Buddies.net. I don't know about it, but Wildcat, there you go. Yeah, find out what works for you. I know sometimes with my one-on-one coaching that I do, that we will do live stuff right there. Good evening, Robin. Nice to see you. And Jackie and KB and all sorts of folks. Susan and Erin and Southern Magnolia and Amy, and I'm just saying these as they pop up, but Riley, this is, I don't know, I'm Gen X, and so I have a vast vocabulary of pop culture references, so this to me always makes me feel like a Miss Jean on Romper Room, and notice how I say Romper Room, because I'm tired, and I'm from Boston, so yeah, from Romper Room, so many people, Jeannie, and Katie, and Carol Ann, welcome. So the reason I show up and do these TikTok lives is to help you. I'm not here to, trust me, I would say this would be disingenuous if I didn't say I was trying to hawk something. A couple of things. If you like what I do and you want me to be your one-on-one coach, go to my website, sign up for a consultation. We'll make that happen. I offer a 10-week program, 10 weeks or 20 weeks or 30 weeks, whatever feels right to you. Information is on my website, destinationdecluttered.com. If you're like, I don't know if I want coaching. I don't even know if I like you. Will this work? No big deal. I know it's a journey. I know what it took me to sign up and pay for coaching. So I want you to feel good about it. A nice, easy peasy, low key, low stress way to just experiment with this is get on my mailing list. DestinationDecluttered.com/join is the free mailing list. When you sign up, you immediately get a free habit tracker that is so freaking helpful. And then also, the people on the mailing list just find out about everything cool before anybody else does. So they will find out, you will find out when you're on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, DestinationDecluttered.com/join. You will find out when my TikTok lives are next week before anybody else. You will find out when I have released some dates for consultations if you want me to be your one-on-one coach. You will also be invited every month. You get the invitation for the monthly free group Zoom call. Now, I have it scheduled for February, and all you need to do is get on my free mailing list. It's fine. And I say my list, but it's our list. It's a wonderful community of supportive people who we show up, you ask questions, you give tips, you hang out, you share stories, you celebrate your wins, you share your struggles so we can problem solve it. It's a really wonderful thing. And it gives you that flavor of what it would be like if you had a smaller group of people, or better yet, a one-on-one person to help you with what you're struggling with. Okay? All right. There we go. Thank you, Wildcat, for sharing your stuff. No worries. Southern Magnolia saying, I have chronic Lyme disease. Oh, that sucks. And an autoimmune disease. I just can't get a lot done due to pain. Okay, Southern Magnolia, I want to share this with you and to everybody who's listening is, first of all, I commiserate and I empathize with the fact that you physically don't feel better, because when you don't feel well, you pretty much aren't doing well. I know when I feel lousy, I do lousy. When I'm tired, when I'm exhausted, when I'm discouraged, when I'm down in the dumps, when all those unhelpful things, I am rarely then going out and trying to kick the world's ass, as I like to say. However, when you feel better, you do better. However, let me just plant the seed. Let me share this with you, Southern Magnolia and everybody. I want you to think of this. At least the way I coach. Decluttering is not about what you do with your hands. If your hands hurt, if you're tired, it isn't this. It's up here. I'm totally like, what do you call it? My posture's wicked bad. I gotta get one of those bras. It's up here and it's in here. Decluttering is a decision-making process. And notice when I say that, my hand is on my heart and my hand is on my head. It's because the decisions happen in both places. It has to coordinate. These two have to be talking to each other. These two have to be in agreement in order for you to make a decision that feels right to you, feels right. Energetically, neurologically, nervous system-y, all the energies have to feel right. Green light here, green light there, you're going to do some stuff. Now, physically, if you're not able to then carry through with what you do, there are hands that can help you. Now, if somebody shows up to help you, they won't know what to do, so they will ask you, what do you want me to do with this? When you know what you want them to do with it, you can direct them, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? So just notice that it is a decision-making process, and I know that the decision-making can also be affected by how you feel, so do whatever you can to feel better. And when you feel better, do better, but don't hold yourself to that high bar of, I need to make the decision and then complete the action. You can split those in half. You can make the decision and then you can ask somebody else to perform the action for you. Okay? I hope that helps you. There we go. Cat Mama seems to be having the same thing. So notice you are not alone with these things. Ponytail Girl Vintage, hey, I'm glad you caught me live. Remind me the next time you're on here. I don't know. There's a ponytail. If I wasn't in this room, send me a message on TikTok and remind me of this, because there is a fun vintage kind of teen vintage, like things like a 45 record holder and things like that. Ponytail was the brand name. I have a few pieces of when I used to be a collector, and it's kind of fun stuff. So there you go. All right, there we go. Kim says, Kim with a Y, I decluttered one extra bedroom, storing new furniture, called and truck came for donations. Rock on. Notice this. This is me kind of, I feel me giving you the high five. All right. As Tina Fey or Liz Lemon Little Tina Fey high five. Look, I'm giving it to you. Give one to yourself too. That's major stuff. Look, awesome. Wildcat is doing that too. Yep, all brand new furniture and home decor. Habitat for Humanity is giving it a family. Yeah. Feeling good about where the stuff you don't want is going can make it easier to release the stuff. Princess of a King 7 says, I got rid of a bunch of trash today. I love that. Every little bit helps. Trash, recyclables, stuff you want, stuff you don't want, all of it matters. Okay? All of it helps you get your home and life looking and feeling more like you want it to. Okay? So good stuff. Good stuff. Now I'm just kind of scrolling up and down here, trying to find these things. Smitten Kitten says, I ended up with 4 bags, but stopped when I hear my thoughts going downhill. Yes. Please, everybody, start to notice your energy levels. When things feel easy, strike while the iron is hot. When things don't feel as easy, be aware of that and adjust your tasks to the energy you have. Also know when you don't have energy and you feel like waning, feel free to roll down those tasks, to slow them down and to stop them. I know myself, when I feel like I'm done, when I feel like I'm putting in a lot of effort, not getting a lot of return, it's time for me to stop, shut down the works, and get some rest and start up another day. I'm a morning person, so then when I wake up in the morning, I have more energies and my tanks are full. Maybe you're not a morning person. Maybe you're an afternoon or maybe you're an evening person. Find out about yourself when you organically, bodily, like not a 9-to-5 robot. Oh, thank you, whoever gave me the little heart things. Treat yourself like a human, not a robot. If you're not a morning person, don't try to make yourself be a morning person. But, strike while your tanks are full. Now, I say tanks because I say kind of like a gas tank in your car. You can't move forward with your tank is empty. But there are different tanks. You have decision-making energy. You have physical energy. You have emotional energy, nervous system energy. When all of those tanks are full, decluttering is easy. Decluttering is not so hard. You're making decisions that feel good to you. It doesn't seem so bad. You ramp up to that. You can be that for a while, but every time you make a decision and do these things, your energy begins to wane. So just honor that. And just like on a road trip, if you're starting to get tired, don't try to break on through to the other side. Start to pull over to a rest stop. Stretch. Drink some water. Move your body. Take a rest. Close your eyes. Chill. Allow yourself to refill your tank. Okay? When you feel better, when you think better, you feel better. When you feel better, you do better. Okay? Notice those things. Okay? Do take yourself. All right. When you treat yourself kindly, it will feel better. There you go. Smitten Kitten saying, we'll start again in the early morning when I feel my best. I can do 1 bag a day. Mwah. Chef's kiss for that, Smitten Kitten. Knowing when you have your best energy and showing up to do the work then, and also setting yourself an attainable goal. That's a win-win right there. Yeah, Jerry says forward is forward no matter how far you go. I have to remind myself I'm doing the best I can. Jerry, you and me and everybody else, us, all of us together, doing the same thing. Forward. I'm always pointing to this. Even when I'm doing like a pop-up TikTok live, I find myself pointing to this point A to point B, or where you are now to your destination in the little dotted line behind me with the car. For those of you who aren't watching because you're walking around decluttering, that's all I'm pointing to. Every little bit helps. Every move forward is closer to your destination than you've ever been, and you're moving further away from the way things used to be. And you are. All of us are doing the best we can with the skills we have, with the energy we have, with all the things we have. We are doing the best. Okay? Wildcat is saying, how can you get everyone else in your household on board with decluttering? Wildcat, I want to suggest this. Start with yourself. Don't try to have everybody else engaged in it if you actively aren't doing it yourself. Find out what works for you. Show up and lead by quiet example at first. However, while you're doing that, again, this is how I coach. This is how I want the world to be, is I don't want the decluttering to rest solely on your shoulders, being your responsibility. And I don't think you do either, because you want to get everybody else in the household on board. Notice where you feel like you're doing too much and they're not doing enough, and start to stop that and start something else. Stop that habit, because it's just a habit, and start something else. Decluttering is a life skill. This is me kind of, I feel like getting up on my little soapbox, my little Brillo pad box, okay? Decluttering is a life skill. Decluttering is to be able to take care of your own stuff, be responsible, be aware of how your actions affect others, and to be able to make the decision, what is this thing? Do I want it or not? If I want it, where does it go? If I don't want it, where does it go? And I made a mess with this, I'm going to clean it up. I am not going to expect anybody else to clean up the mess that I made. Now, some people, I mean, trust me, if somebody was always cleaning up after me, when they started to change it and be like, I'm not going to do that anymore, I would probably be grumpy about it, because the way things worked in my favor. Hello, patriarchy. But what I say is, it's really important to readjust that dynamic, because it's not beneficial to anybody. Somebody's doing 90% and somebody's doing 10%. That's unfair to both parties. Because, for example, think of the men, and I think of the people who do 10% and never learn the decluttering skill, do not know how to clean up after themselves, do not learn these life skills. If the person they are dependent on goes away, they are struggling. On the other hand, if you're the person who's doing it for everybody, at a certain point, you like to do these things. You love these people. You want to help them. But past a certain point, you feel frustrated and resentful. When you feel frustrated and resentful, you're not showing up in your best self for yourself or other people. So I just plant that seed to get them involved, but start with yourself. Start with yourself. Start showing people you're taking care of your own things. Start finding out what works and what doesn't work for you, and then be excited to share how this different thing shared. But yes, it is a slow process, but it is worth going towards that destination of everybody helping. I will share with you. So I have one-on-one clients. I'm looking at my client list today, and it is so heartening when I hear the dynamic shifting of the frustrated person who has been doing it all and nobody else cares and I'm the only one. And next thing you know, suddenly this person is not even helping out. Even that's a catchphrase that I go to. Somebody's doing something to help. Somebody's doing something. Everybody's kind of collaborating. It's collaborative as opposed to one person doing another thing. So anyhow, there we go. All right, what else do we have here? What else can I help? There we go. It's not the speed, it's direction. Finding a pace that works for you, that feels right. It's just like driving. Are you in the fast lane? Are you in the slow lane? Or in the middle lane? Find out what speed works for you and work at the speed that feels right to you. It will differ day to day, but match what you're doing to the energy you have, and you will make progress every morning. Okay? There we go. Susan Porter says, excuse me, I feel like I'm going to burp. Putting business clothes in storage bags out of my closet, but will have them if I go back to the office. That's really good. Notice the stuff that you have, the stuff that you use most often, the stuff that you use on a daily basis. Keep that within hand's reach. Make it easy to find the things you use often. The stuff that you don't use as often, put it further away. Like, put it in a place you know where it is if you want to go look for it, as Susan did, putting it in storage bags. So you know that if you go back to the office, you know where to get it, where the storage bags are. But if you don't go back to the office, it's not getting in the way of you living the life that you live now. It's kind of like having your holiday decor out all the time. You have it out for a while, then you put it away, but next year you'll know where it is. Okay? Yeah, oh, interesting. I work hard not to introduce a scorecard. Catherine, wise words. Wise words, yeah. It can be an effort to not kind of go tit for tat, or I do this and you do nothing. When it becomes a competition and a comparison, that energy can feel good in the short term, but can be detrimental in the long term. Okay? Fatima is saying, how about if you declutter and then you start again? I love this because the way I coach is, think about this. Notice this. We often think of decluttering as only decreasing. Pretend there's a big pile of clutter here, and over here it's like from your past, right? This big pile of clutter that's an accumulation of items that has built up over the years, and it's now too much, it's above your head, and you can't deal with it. We usually only think of decluttering as reducing the volume of that pile, making that pile of stuff smaller, getting rid of stuff. You think that's decluttering. That's only half of it. The other half of it, as you've noticed, Fatima, because you can do that, or Fatima, I apologize, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I hope one of those two is working. Decreasing that in order to not reclutter again. Remember that horror film, They Recluttered Again? In order to not get cluttered again, you got to change your habits. You have habits, and the wonderful thing is, you guys, habits can be changed. Habit is something you do, then you notice it, and if you notice it's not getting you what you want, you can change it. I know that myself. I've gotten better habits about washing my face and brushing my teeth than I ever have done. So many habits. So notice the things you do. Catch yourself. Get curious. Notice the things. Where did that clutter come from? Oh, that's right. I put it there when I came in the house and I dumped all my stuff and I left it there for days on end. As soon as you realize the habits that got you cluttered, you can stop them and do something different at that fork in the road. Do something that's not going to keep you cluttered, but it's going to get you towards less cluttered. So notice when you clean off everything, when you have a clean table, when you have a clean surface, when you have I should not say clean, I should say clear, because I want to be, mindful of the cleaning versus decluttering. When you have a surface that you finally have cleared of items and it starts to be cluttered again, how did those items get there? Who put them there? Don't judge yourself. Just notice that you have habits that get you cluttered. We've learned them. We've picked them up. They become easy. You've got like a path in your brain that does it. You can change those things. Okay? So you can change it. That's a cool thing. So decluttering, knocking down the pile of stuff and changing your habits will allow it so that the piles don't pile up again. Now, trust me, this is not like you're going to be ready for, I'm always thinking of Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg showing up at the front door and being like, hey, we're going to surprise you, but we're going to come in and do like a magazine shoot. You will have stuff piling up. Your house is not a museum. You live here. I know I came in tonight, we did some shopping, and I put some things down, but so much less than I used to do. I used to let things pile up more. I used to let the piles get up more. Now, as I like to say, instead of being like a roller coaster like this, where it's like it's there and you knock it down and you don't change your habits so it gets up a bit, it's more like the merry-go-round, where things will pile up a little bit, you knock it down, it'll pile up a little bit. Or maybe it's just like whoosh, smooth sailing, a little boat. Who knows? Okay. All right. Okay. Smitten Kitten, I'm glad that what I was saying was ringing true with you. And Smitten Kitten, here's a seed I want to plant. Here's a secret I want to tell you. Psst, 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 psst. When you help yourself, you will be helping everybody else too. Because when you help yourself, you learn skills that work for you, and you can share them with them. You can teach them these things that you don't know yourself now. You don't know how to maybe declutter the best you can, so it's really hard to tell other people how to do it, to impart with them the skills. But when you learn how to do it yourself, you are a more trusted source because they see you working on yourself. Okay? Vera just said, did a little in the garage, and then you're live. Boom. See what happens? There we go. Abbott Elementary saying, saving money by decluttering instead of shopping. Yes, shop around your house. Use what you have. Is there something, instead of hitting the feeder bar from Amazon or going out to shop, is there something else you could use that would work just as well? I'm not saying never shop. I just came back from buying a new pair of sneakers because the ones that I was using totally got ripped apart. I needed some to live my life better because I want to do more walking. But what I want to offer to you is, before you do that, is there something else you could do? Do you have multiples of things that you could use instead? Okay? Yes, and being responsible for 5 people and all of the stuff is exhausting. Stop that. start something else. It'll be better for everybody. It'll be uncomfortable in the short term because people are used to somebody taking care of them. But in the long run, especially if you have children, I firmly believe that you will send off better kids in the world when they know how to take care of themselves. Okay? All right. Notice these things. Okay, Margot, making my bed, gathering my trash and dirty dishes, and putting my laundry away every day. Thank you. Yes. No, thank you. Doesn't it feel better? Let me ask you this. So I'm a certified life coach, and I know, but I'm also, for years, I was a person just who cared about the surfaces because I was a visual merchandiser, I was a store manager. I did all the things that looked good on the surface. Looking good on the surface, though, makes you feel better, doesn't it? Notice what Smitten Kitten said. I started with shirts and closets that are not wearable or donatable, took 10 minutes, felt great. Felt. Dottie. I always say Pee Wee Herman. I like you, Dottie. I like you. It felt good. It felt good. It's not just so it looks good to other people. That's a bonus. But when it looks good to you and it feels good, oh, that feels good. Feels so good. Even making your bed and gathering your trash and dirty dishes and putting away the laundry makes you feel good. So do the things that make you feel good. Yeah. Notice the things that don't make you feel good and get curious about it. You know? Paula J just says, once heard a great view. Our houses are not rubber bands. No, it won't expand like one. Space has its limits. Yes. I often think about it being a math problem. Like it's one of those ones where you had a formula and it's like I have this many things and this is the square, footage of this box. How many things can you fit in it? It becomes a math problem. You can only fit so much in something that does not expand. Yeah. There you go. Phoenix for fire. I've started with throwing away the junk mail. Awesome. And when I get it from the mailbox, yes, tightening up that circle of when you get it. How soon do you want to keep, how long do you want to keep the stuff in your life that you don't want? The sooner you get rid of it, the sooner it's not even there to bug you. And then rinsing your dishes after dinner. Baby steps. Every little bit helps. Now, of course, every little bit helps, but the more you do, the sooner you get there. But you know yourself, you know your time, your energy, your, wanting to get there. Those things will be taken into account too. Excuse me, trying to hydrate. Hydrate. Your advice is slowly but surely helping me declutter my house and so grateful. User 616440. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Now, I would be lying as if I didn't say I thought it would be more fun. Like, I think it's fun when people hear me and they like what I'm doing and they kind of give me the thumbs up. So if you haven't met me before, my name is Beth, Destination Decluttered. If you don't already follow my TikTok page, maybe just follow my TikTok page. That would be great. I do videos often. I do TikTok lives a lot, multiple times every week, though at different times and different days, and And I also do one-on-one coaching, and I have a mailing list. Excuse me. I feel like I'm gonna cough. So excuse me. I don't want to asphyxiate myself on live TikTok, but it's always good to hear that what I'm doing is helping. The only reason I show up is to help. Because I know what it's like to struggle with stuff. I know I grew up in a cluttered home. I grew up for decades being cluttered and collecting too much stuff. The collecting was fun, but then you're like, oh, what do I do with all this stuff? This room that I now work in now used to be the place that we would shove everything before a Christmas party and be like, don't look in that room. Don't open that closet. Oh my gosh, don't open that door. It's different now. And it's different now because I learned what works and what doesn't. Trial and error. And the wonderful thing is the reason I show up in your life is to make it so much easier than it was for me to develop this process. Trial and error, what works, what doesn't, beta testing, yada, yada. I can help you get to your destination decluttered quicker than I ever did. But I'm here now. I am living in my destination decluttered, and man, it is a game changer. Because it's not that just my house is easy to maintain and it's super simple, and if people show up, it's delightful, and I can leave for the weekend and not worry about my house. But it's little things like, for example, when we were away in December, And friends of ours, their furnace went out. And they sent out a text to our group thread of like local friends and neighbors. Does anybody have any space heaters? We do, but we didn't need them because we weren't home. I was able to tell somebody how to get into my house, where the space heaters were, and I had no freaking out about somebody going into my house when I wasn't there because I knew it looked good. So I felt good millions of miles away. I was also easily able to help my friends get heaters. So there are such subtle ways that you don't even realize how what your house looks like makes you feel and might stop you from doing the things you want to do. That decluttering helps you get space in your life to do the things that are important to you. So just love this. Okay, Phoenix for Fire. I love your philosophy. I grew up with organized hoarders. Can we just word? Struggling with my ADD. Yes, I have ADHD in my family too. So I know I'm not coming from the outside, you guys. I am in it. I am embedded. I am literally leaving tomorrow, technically morning, to drive up to New England to help my aged mother with her paperwork because I have helped her declutter, but she can't change. She won't change, she can't change, whatever. But I'm good at this, so I show up and do it for her. But boy, would it be easier on all of us if she had been able to do it herself. She's doing the best she can with what she has. She did the best she could with what she had based on where she came from. And so I have love for her. It's not to say I don't get aggravated and I'm like, but I love her. And so I drive hours, 6-7 hours to drive up to go sort papers for the weekend and I'll see her. So there we go. Okay. Sally Searing is feeling overwhelmed. Sally, I'm going to help you with that. Overwhelm is the number one thing people show up with. Okay. Here I want to help you with this. First of all, overwhelm. I want to give you this little kind of hack to think about because this is one of the things I think is kind of fun. I like to think of the opposites of stuff. So to me, the opposite of overwhelm, even in an English language way, is overwhelm has the word over in it. Over. Overwhelm. I'm overwhelmed. Oh, I'm looking too much. Notice how you're looking at your whole house at one time. That sounds overwhelming to me. What I want you to think of, instead of the word over, I want you to think of the word down. Everybody, if you ever feel overwhelmed, think of the word down. And what does that mean? I want you to think of calming down your nervous system, slowing down, breathing down. When you feel better, when you're all like, I'm overwhelmed, I don't even know, when you shut down, shutting down is not good. Actually, I never thought about that until right now. Shut down. No, don't do the shutdown. Calm down your nervous system. Breathe down into your lungs. Slow down. Pet down. Almost like do this nice calming, visceral thing. Like if a kid or a dog was all freaked out, their hackles would be up. Calm down. Shh, it's okay. Quiet down. All the downs. And then write down, get your thoughts out of your head onto paper, chunk it down. Don't even try to clean your whole house at one time. That is too big. You cannot do that way. What you can do, Sally and everybody, is chunk it down. The only way you get your whole house done is to start with one little section at a time and move out from there. One room at a time. One surface at a time, one chunk at a time. One chunk of time, one day, one bit of energy is the only way you get anything ever done. A step at a time is how you walk somewhere. A bite at a time is how you eat something. A penny at a time is how you save money. Everything, when you chunk it down to a smaller bit, to a point where it says, I feel like I can do that little bit, that helps you get started. Overwhelm keeps you stuck, feeling like you can do it. Chunking it down gets you started. Carol Jones is saying you're overwhelmed. Follow these things. When you feel better, you will do better. When you feel better and you know all you need to do to get started is do something pretty low-key, low pressure, simple, I can do that, it's not going to take forever, then that gets you started. Once you're in action, once you have some momentum, you may do a little bit more than you thought. Okay? There you go. See, Sally? So I can do my bathroom first and go from there. Yeah. And in the bathroom, think about this too. Start one little bit at a time. Wipe down the mirror. Look at how, notice how much better it looks when you wipe down the mirror from all the little splitters on it. Wipe that down. Notice how that feels. Feels better to look at that, right? Then maybe you look at the sink and you clear the sink. That's another chunk. I did the sink. I did the chrome, handles and stuff. I emptied out the trash. I put some blue stuff in the toilet and I swished around the thing. I sprayed some stuff in the tub. I cleaned out the little hair goop from the tub thing. Whatever it is, notice each one of those things as a little bit. Appreciate all those little bits you did. And I don't want to say suddenly, but sooner rather than later, even your bathroom is going to look better. And you'll feel good because you did something, okay? Everybody, overwhelm is when you learn how to overcome the overwhelm, when you have a tool in your toolkit, I just gave it to you, over to down, you can use this everywhere in your life. Everywhere in your life where you're feeling overwhelmed, try this out. When you feel better, you're going to do better. When you say, okay, I don't know how to do the whole thing. I don't know how to drive. I personally don't know how to drive from, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Palm Springs, California. But I do it a little bit at a time. There we go. Sally Searing, thanks. I figured the sooner I start, the sooner I finish. Yeah. Yes, you got the insight. You know what's going on. Yes, the sooner you start, the sooner you're just done. And do not underestimate, everybody, don't underestimate the feeling of just being done with a thing. I have some stuff that I'm not looking forward to doing. I had to rewrite something today. I've got some tax documents I have to do. I'm not looking forward to it, but I am so much better prepared now to kind of tighten that loop, to get it done sooner so I don't push it off until April 14th and a half. Because the sooner you get it done, it's not hanging over your head. It's not overwhelming you. You think when you're pushing it away, I'm like, oh, I'll deal with it later, I'll deal with it later. But you never have I rarely have a clean conscience. Not a conscience, but that thing is always in the back of your mind. I really should be doing that thing. I really should be doing that thing. When you do it, that voice is gone because you've done it. I don't have to worry about sending that rewrite to somebody because I did it. It's just done. It's in the past now. But when those things are in the front, it's looming over you. I have to do my taxes. I have to do my taxes. I have to do my taxes. Just do whatever you need to do to get your tax stuff going and make it happen now. Trust me, it is a game changer. Okay? There we go. Yes, your to-dos to ta-das. I love it. Wildcat, I do the same thing. My to-do list turns into a ta-da jazz hands list. Have some fun with it. Okay? Ooh, Susan Porter is saying, and notice you're getting encouragement. Sally, Susan is saying, I remember the exact day and feeling when I walked in my living room and realized how much I had done. Like anything, you probably won't notice stuff at the very beginning. I follow this weight loss coach. He's this funny Irish guy. I'm a sucker for funny Irish guys. I'm from Boston. What can I say? And much like weight loss, you don't notice anything much at the beginning. You think things aren't working. But all those little things do add up. And at one point, you'll be like, wow, this place looks different. This place looks and feels different. It's easier for me to move around here. It is easier for me to find the stuff that I want to look for. Ease. I'm all about ease. Wildcat is offering something about saying intentions versus to-do seems easier and not so rigid. When it feels doable, when it feels like you can do it, it's going to be easier for you to do it. Okay? Jamie, I do not live in Boston. I used to live in the suburbs of Boston. I have lived outside of Mass, but you can tell I'm ready to head home because I'm tired and my Boston accent comes out like nobody's business. There we go. Some peace on earth. Oh, very cute. Hi, Beth. Where did you get the destination decals behind you? You know what? I printed them out. I made something on Google Docs and I printed it out and I laminated it. And I used tape to hang them up there. So they're not decals. I just made them myself, clip art. Okay. There we go. I love it. Kara from Massachusetts, who lives in Mass, down the Cape, I think. More stuff listed, giving something away, and made a TikTok. Boom, boom, boom. 3 high fives. Joker, Joker, and a triple. Okay, I love it, Kara. I promised you I would give you some accountability and some encouragement. Rock on. I cannot wait to hear about how many plants you have in your yard because of the stuff that you just no longer want anymore. So rock on. There we go. Very cool. Oh, you're from the North Shore, huh? I love it. Where in the North? Not that we won't get, that'd be me. So where are you from? Peabody, Newburyport. Actually, it's fun. It's great. I have a client. We had a couple of packages together. She's going to come back in the summer, so she says, and she's from Mass too. So we talk about stuff like that. Oh, good. It's not so super cold. Thank you for letting me know. It's kind of warm down here too, so you won't be. Thank you for that. Yes, and I got my new sneakers. I'm going to go for a walk with a friend, so I won't be shocked for my upcoming trip. Yeah. Beverly. Okay, awesome, Beverly. The Cabot Cinema. I remember the Cabot Cinema being in Beverly, right across the bridge from Salem and Salem Willows. I used to do a lot of road tripping around there, so I know that place. There we go. 50s in the weekend. Yes, it's going to be like that down here too. So yay, that's going to make it even more delightful. My sister often says when I come back to Massachusetts, I bring the bad weather with me. And then I say, no, the weather here always sucks. And I'm just reminding you of it because I live somewhere else. Anywho, enough about me. We've got like 14 minutes left, so I want to make the best of it, okay? For you, all right? Finally letting go of stuff that is not my style. I was keeping it out of guilt, says Rach. Guilt. Such an unhelpful feeling. Well, it helps somebody else. It just doesn't help you. It helps the person who gave you the guilt trip. They're taking you on a guilt trip. When you learn to recognize guilt but not engage with it, man, does your life change. When you start saying, thank you for that, thank you but no thank you, with love, yeah, and when you do that, it changes your life. Now, I'll admit, there's a little bit of stuff, like for example, for me, personally this week, I was looking at some artwork. I probably described this in another TikTok live, but I like to keep people posted, of some stuff that went on. And I realized at a point, I thought I was going to frame a photo that I had hanging. I was reframing it, moving the artwork around in our tiki room, and I thought I would hang it in this certain place. Even though organically, I also was like, I don't know if it's going to look good there, but at least it's something. I reframed it, and then when I went to hang it there, I'm like, no, that does not feel right. I look over, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this thing that was my great aunt's. Now, I love and loved my great aunt, and my dad gave me this, so there's a story behind it. But it was like, you know what? This is my house. They will get why I say I don't want to have that hanging there now anymore, and I'm going to put up the thing that I did. As soon as I hung up that photograph there, boom, felt right, looked good, looked more like my house, and just because I'm not hanging up that piece of artwork anymore does not mean I don't love my dad anymore, who's passed. Does not mean I don't love my Aunt Aga anymore. I love her. She has also passed. It just means that I am making room for what's important to me. This was important to them, and it was important for me for a while. And maybe, I'm not saying I'm getting rid of it. Maybe I'll hang it up someplace differently. But I am absolving myself here. I am absolving you of the guilt. Release yourself from the guilt and your life will change. Okay? There we go. I love it. Yay. Okay. Paula J., thank you for letting me know about the Cabot. I actually have some friends in the creative world who told me about that, and I've seen some good shows that are coming up there. Let me share this with you, just wicked quick, not even 30 seconds. The Cabot Cinema, I'm like 99.9% sure that that place directly plays into my life being the way it is now, which is rocking, because I saw the movie That Thing You Do at the Cabot Cinema. And boy, did that movie change my life. I am now married to a musician who's in the other room. We've been married for almost 22 years now because of that movie. So do not underestimate the power of place. I'm also a preservationist who loves old theaters, and I have for decades, ever since I saw, who was it? Oh, Peter Gabriel at the Orpheum in like 81 or 82. So thank you. I digress. I got off topic, but just wanted to share that with you because then we're talking about home. B. Reimer says, I finally took a bag of clothing from my mother-in-law who passed away in 2021. We were good friends. Yeah, it's going to make the feels. It was hard, but you did it. And you know what? I want to choose to believe that somebody else is going to wear those clothes and look fucking awesome in it. Okay? There we go. Oh, Paula J., I did not know your sister had a small part in that movie. How lucky is that? Uh-huh. Yeah, that thing you do. It is a life-changing movie for me. I can watch it all the time. Whatever. I can't even... I will waste the next 10 minutes raving about how much I love that movie. But I won't. But I am married to a cute rock and roller because of that movie. So, anywho, let me help you with clutter. And then if you want to hear about my personal life, that's another thing. But I am here for you. I'm not here for me to share my stories. But I'm a human who wants to just hear and help you. Oh, there we go. All right, Kara, you two at the Orphan in '83. I saw Bowie that summer. I was at the Serious Moonlight or the Let's Dance tour. I never got to see it. Oh, the uncut. Okay, see, now we're getting into like a little bit more chit chat. So Virtual Cat, I got the DVD with the uncut version. It's so different from the cut version. Different things. It's just so good. I am so psyched at some point to meet Tom Hanks and tell him how pretty much he changed my life because he made that movie. When I do, I'll let you know. When I meet Mr. and Mrs. Hanks, Rita Wilson and Mr. Hanks. There we go. Radical Gal 68. I'm trying to choose to give myself grace instead of hanging on to guilt. Notice the words you're using. I feel like I should have like a red pencil or just notice this. I'm trying to choose to give myself. No, let's get rid of the trying to, Radical Gal. See how this sounds. I choose to give myself grace. Instead of trying to choose it, just choose it. Choose life. Choose death. You know, jitterbug. Everybody? Jitterbug. If you know, you know. Choose to give yourself grace. If you're hanging on to guilt, notice that word you're using. Hanging on to guilt, you can let it go. Let it go. Let go of the guilt. Instead of hanging on to the guilt, you can easily let it go. Not easily, but just even try that. Here I am hanging on to this guilt. And just try to just let it go. Choose to give yourself guilt and choose to give yourself grace and let go of the guilt because you're hanging on to it. Okay? There we go. Kara's saying, I made a decision. In my mind, my landscape is more important than the clutter. And she says, thank you for the motivation. You're welcome. You know what? I want you to trust your instincts. Everybody. Kara, everybody. I am here to reinforce that what your gut tells you, trust it. When it comes from a good place, when it's coming from a place of fear, oh my God. Luckily, I only have 7 minutes left here. I'm getting things switched around. When it comes from a place of love versus fear, when you feel good about your decision and not hinky and scared and I don't know, when you feel good about your decision, I'm here to reinforce you to say yes. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. Trust your nervous system and heart and soul and motivation and whatever. That you decided my landscape is more important than my clutter. And I'm here to reinforce yes. Now, my landscape, I am not a landscapey person. But so you do you. There we go. Yeah, and Josephine Arroyo is saying, I know someone that lost a child 15 years ago and their room is still intact and no one goes in there. It's a choice. It's a choice. And I'm not going to judge anybody for anything. All we can do is look at ourselves and say, where do we have that? Where are we clinging on to something that doesn't serve us, doesn't make us feel good anymore? All right? Okay. User 37387400159934 says, I feel bad throwing away gifts from family. It says fa, so I'm thinking fam. First of all, please, everybody, notice that there are so many other places to let go of an item. Just because you have something and you don't want it doesn't mean it goes immediately into the trash. Do not throw it away unless you absolutely have to. There are so many places you can go before you get to the trash. There's donating. There's giving it to somebody else. There's selling it. There's putting it on a free table. There's putting it on a free site. There's selling it online. There's, there's like garage sales, and there's, thrift stores, and there's yard sales, and there's charities. There are so many places that the gifts that you got, the item that represents the gift, could go. So experiment with those. They might feel less bad. Okay? Mama Cruzy is asking, how often do you send out emails? I'm afraid that I might be missing them. Two things. I don't have a consistent pattern. That's not how I roll. I really try to balance it, because first of all, every single email you get from me is not sent. I mean, I use like an email system, but it's not one of these like in 5 days, remind them. Some of the stuff, if you sign up for a consultation, there's a few automated ones there because that's something you signed up for. Every email you get is organically from me. I really try to make sure that I'm not annoying you with too many emails. I try to strike the balance of just right. So once every 10 days or so, I could check. Actually, I've got it. No, does that work? No. Maybe in the last week, I sent one out last week. Tomorrow, I will send one out tomorrow. Okay, so how about this? Where is it? Mama Cruzy. I'm going to send one out tomorrow before I leave for Mass, so before noontime, okay? Because I know now when my TikTok lives are going to be next week. I also know when I have availability for coaching consultations, and I want to share that with the people on the mailing list. So I'm going to send it out tomorrow before noontime Eastern. If you do not receive it, first of all, check all your spam folders and all your kind of traps and everything like that. If you still don't get it, email me. Email me at beth@destinationdecluttered.com and say, hey, this is the email address I signed up for, and I'm not getting the emails. I will then be able to look into my email provider and see why you didn't. Sometimes people's emails, when you've signed up, inadvertently get stuck in the spam file for me to say, oh, don't send anything. People get blocked. The cool thing is, though, I am really pleased with my email service because I can reach out to them and say, can you unblock this person? And they will. Okay? So you let me know if you don't get it. All right? So, Jelly Bee is saying, do you recommend a schedule for clutter maintenance, kitchen every Monday, garage in fall, etc.? If that works for you, do it. At a certain point, and maybe this is my ADHD, I don't like to be overly regimented by keeping to, it's Monday, I got to do this. If Monday I got to do this and Tuesday I have to do this, works for you, do it. What I want you to do is pay attention to how things look and feel. Be aware of it. When it feels like you want to do it, then do it. When it looks like you want to do it, but the sooner you get it, you could even say, well, if the kitchen is Monday, then I'm not going to do anything Tuesday through Sunday, and then I'll just do it all on Monday. Do what feels right to you. If you want to be very regimented, to me, that's a lot less. To me, that's when I know I get into the you're not the boss of me ADHD brain, is paying attention to when it feels right. Okay, so Mama Cruzy, you re-signed up. Okay, awesome. Good. Dragonflies and flip-flops, love that. I just want to say your life helped me clean out a hall closet. I wish I had a before pic. That's wonderful. I am always encouraging my one-on-one clients to take the before pictures. They always do it at the very beginning, but then they fall out of the habit. I too forget to take pictures before I do stuff, and I'm bummed out because you'll already forget how bad it was. But everybody, take a before picture and you work on a place for even 5 minutes, it's going to look different. So thank you for letting me know what I have done to help you, okay? So now I'm looking, we have less than a minute here, and I won't be doing a TikTok live until next week. Now, because you're not on the mailing list, you don't know when it is. And actually right now, I'd have to flip through my Breeze blocks to find out when it is. If you want to know before everybody else when my next Destination Decluttered TikTok Live is going to be, get on the mailing list. It's free. It's low key. It's cool. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. So I will see you next week. The other thing too is please remember every little bit helps. You are not alone. You can do this. Many people are struggling, but every little bit helps. And the other thing too is much like Cat Mama said, listen to other posts, is I have a bunch of videos to keep you informed and entertained and encouraged on my TikTok page. So like those, share them, go back through the archives. There's something there that I'm sure is going to help you. Okay. And I will see you next week. Do the best you can with what you have. If you want me as your one-on-one coach, there is availability next week for consultations. And yeah, I'll see you later. All right. Bye.